Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We publish new videos every day. Don't forget, grab your smartphone and download the Lava Matra app and stay in touch. Guru Maharaj's message is your advantage. The following is a Sri Krishna Chaitanya book compilation given by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj on January 31st, 2021 in Sri Mayapur, India.
Rangarangategaram Yattithatavat Mande Segaram Nilkalinam Paramanandamādava Sri Chaitanya Islam Hari Om Tat Sat.
Compilation of Sri Krishna Chaitanya book. Today's chapter is titled Perfect Questions, Perfect Answers.
উভয়ের রাত্রে একত্র বাস, পরদিন রাতে স্বকার্যে গমন। এই মতো প্রেমাবেশে রাত্রি গুঙাইল, প্রাতকালে নিজ নিজ কার্যে দুহে গেলা।
The entire night was passed in this way, in ecstatic love of Godhead. In the morning, they both departed to tend to their respective duties.
Ramananda Rai, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spent the whole night discussing Krishna Katha.
Ramananda Roy and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spent the whole night discussing Krishna Katha.
They were in ecstatic love of Godhead.
They were in ecstatic love of Godhead.
রায়ের দৈন ও প্রভুর সঙ্গ প্রার্থনা। বিদায় সময়ে প্রভুর চরণে ধরিয়া রামানন্দ রায় কহে বিনতি করিয়া।
Before departing from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ramananda Raya fell to the ground and caught hold of the Lord's lotus feet. He then spoke submissively as follows.
মোরে কৃপা করিতে তোমার ইহা আগমন, দিন 10 রহি সদ মোর দুষ্ট মন।
Sri Ramananda Raya said, "You have come here just to show me your causeless mercy. Therefore stay here for at least 10 days and purify my polluted mind."
তোমা বিনা অন্য নাহি জীব উদ্ধারিতে, তোমা বিনা অন্য নাহি কৃষ্ণ প্রেম দিতে।
But for you, there is no one who can deliver all the living entities. For you alone can deliver love of Krishna.
Lord Chaitanya to give greatest mercy of love for Krishna to everyone and everyone.
Lord Chaitanya could give this greatest mercy, love for Lord Krishna, to anyone and to everyone.
প্রভু কর্তৃক রায়ের স্তুতি ও তদ্বশ্যতাঙ্গিকার। প্রভু কহে আইলাম শুনি তোমার গুণ, কৃষ্ণ কথা শুনি শুদ্ধ করাইতে মন।
The Lord replied, "Having heard about your good qualities, I have come here. I have come to hear about Krishna from you, and thus purify my mind."
Lord Chaitanya, he in turn glorified Ramananda Raya.
Lord Chaitanya in turn glorified Ramananda Raya.
জইছে শুনিল তৈছে দেখিল তোমার মহিমা, রাধা কৃষ্ণ প্রেম রস জ্ঞানেরও তুমি সীমা।
Now that I have actually seen your glories, what I heard about you is confirmed. As far as the pastimes of Radha and Krishna in a loving mood are concerned, you are the limit of knowledge. Purport by Sri Prabhupada, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu found Ramananda Raya to be the best authority in transcendental knowledge of the loving affairs between Radha and Krishna. In this verse, the Lord actually states that Ramananda Raya was the limit of this knowledge.
10 দিনের কা কথা যাবৎ আমি জীব, তাবাত তোমার সঙ্গ ছাড়িতে নারিব।
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, "You say nothing of 10 days. As long as I live, I shall find it impossible to give up your company."
নীলাচলে প্রভুর রায়ের সঙ্গ বাঞ্ছা। নীলাচলে তুমি আমি থাকিব একসঙ্গে, সুখে গোঙাইব কাল কৃষ্ণ কথা রঙ্গে।
You and I shall remain together at Jagannath Puri. We shall pass our time together in joy, talking about Krishna and his pastimes.
স্ব কার্যান্তে সন্ধ্যায় উভয়ের মিলন। এত বলি দুহে নিজ নিজ কার্যে গেলা, সন্ধ্যাকালে রায় পুনঃ আসি আমি লীলা।
In this way, they both departed to perform their respective duties. And in the evening, Ramananda Raya returned to see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
উভয়ের ইষ্টগোষ্ঠী অন্য অন্যে মিলি, দুহে নির্ভীতে বসিয়া প্রশ্ন উত্তর গোষ্ঠী কহে আনন্দিত হইয়া।
Thus they met time and time again, sitting in a secluded place and jubilantly discussing devotional service by the question and answer process.
প্রভুর রামানন্দ সংলাপ, প্রভুর প্রশ্ন, রায়ের উত্তর। প্রভু পুছে রামানন্দ করেন উত্তর, এই মতো সেই রাত্রে কথা পরস্পর।
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked the questions and Sri Ramananda Raya gave the answers. In this way, they were engaged in discussion throughout the night.
কৃষ্ণ ভক্তি পরা বিদ্যা। প্রভু কয়ে কোন বিদ্যা, বিদ্যা মধ্যে সার। রায় কহে কৃষ্ণ ভক্তি, বিনা বিদ্যা নাহি আর।
On one occasion, the Lord inquired of all types of education, which is the most important? Ramananda Raya replied, no education is important other than the transcendental devotional service of Krishna. Purport, Srila Prabhupada. Text 245 to 257 are all questions and answers between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Raya. In these exchanges, there is an attempt to show the difference between material and spiritual existence. Education in Krishna consciousness is always transcendental. It is the best of all forms of education. Material education aims at increasing the activities of material sense gratification. Beyond material sense gratification is another negative form of knowledge called Brahma Vidya, or impersonal transcendental knowledge. But beyond the Brahma Vidya, or knowledge of the impersonal Brahman, is knowledge of devotional service to the Supreme Lord Vishnu. This knowledge is higher, and higher still is devotional service to Lord Krishna, which is the topmost form of education. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, Tat Karma Haritosham Yat Sa Vidyatan Matiryaya, work meant for pleasing Supreme Lord is the best, and education that enhances one's Krishna consciousness is the best. This is a statement given by Prahlad Maharaj in answer to a question raised by his father. Prahlad Maharaj said, to hear or chant about Lord Vishnu, to remember him, to serve his lotus feet, to worship him, to offer prayers to him, to become his servant and his friend, to sacrifice everything for his service, all these are varieties of devotional service. One who is engaged in such activities is understood to be educated to the topmost perfection.
Krishna Bhakti is the topmost education.
So Krishna Bhakti is the topmost education.
That was confirmed by Prahlad Maharaj.
That was confirmed by Prahlad Maharaj.
That is what Ramananda Raya answered to Lord Chaitanya.
That is what Ramananda Roy answered to Lord Chaitanya.
Nothing is important in this world
Nothing is important in this world
other than Krishna Bhakti.
other than Krishna Bhakti. Chaitanya Chandra Nataka 752. Bhagavan, that is external. What is real knowledge? Ramananda, devotion to Lord Hari, Krishna, is real knowledge. Knowledge of the material portion of the Vedas and other scriptures is not real knowledge.
In the scripture, there may be some material knowledge mentioned.
In the scriptures, there will be some material knowledge mentioned.
Knowledge about the Supreme Personality of Godhead is spiritual, and that is eternal.
But knowledge about Supreme Personality Godhead is spiritual and is eternal.
That is real knowledge.
And that is real knowledge.
কৃষ্ণ দাস্যই সর্বশ্রেষ্ঠ যশ বা প্রতিষ্ঠা। কীর্তিগণ মধ্যে জীবের কোন বড় কীর্তি, কৃষ্ণ ভক্তি বিলাইয়া যাহার হয় খ্যাতি।
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then asked Ramananda Raya, out of all glorious activities, which is the most glorious? Ramananda Raya replied, that person who is reputed to be a devotee of Lord Krishna enjoys the utmost fame and glory. Purport: the greatest reputation a living being can have is to be a devotee of Krishna and to act in Krishna consciousness. In the material world, everyone is trying to be famous by accumulating a large bank balance or material opulence. There is a steady competition among karmis attempting to advance in a wealthy society. The whole world is turning in accordance with that competitive mood. But this kind of name and fame is temporary, for it lasts only as long as the temporary material body exists. One may become famous as a Brahma Gyani or an impersonalist scholar, or one may become a materially opulent person. In either case, such reputations are inferior to the reputation of Krishna's devotee. In the Garuda Puran, it is said, in this age of Kali, the fame of one who is known as a great devotee is very rare. However, such a position is superior to that of the great demigods like Brahma and Mahadev. This is the opinion of all spiritual masters. In the Itihasa Samuchaya, Narada tells Pundarika, after many births, when a person realizes that he is an eternal servant of Vasudev, he can deliver all the worlds. In the Adi Puran, in a conversation between Krishna and Arjuna, it is said, the most exalted position of liberation is given by Vedic knowledge. Everyone follows in the footsteps of the devotee. Similarly, in the Brihat Naradiya Purana, it is further stated, until now, even the great demigods like Brahma and Lord Shiva did not know the influence of a devotee. The Garuda Puran similarly states, it is said, out of thousands of Brahmanas, one is qualified to perform sacrifice. Out of many thousands such qualified Brahmanas, expert in sacrificial offerings, one learned Brahmana may have passed beyond all Vedic knowledge. He is considered the best among these Brahmanas. And yet, out of thousands of such Brahmanas who have surpassed Vedic knowledge, one person may be a Vishnu Bhakta, and he is most famous. Out of many thousands of such Vaishnavas, one who is completely fixed in the service of Lord Krishna is most famous. Indeed, a person who is completely devoted to service of the Lord certainly returns home back to Godhead. There is also the following statement in Srimad Bhagavatam. After much hard labor, a person highly learned in Vedic literature suddenly becomes very famous. However, one who is always hearing and chanting the glories of lotus feet of Lord Mukunda within his heart is suddenly superior. In Narayana Vyuha Stava, it is said, I do not aspire to take birth as a Brahma if that Brahma is not a devotee of the Lord. I shall be satisfied simply to take birth as an insect if I am given a chance to remain in the house of a devotee. There are similar verses in Bhagavatam. It was Lord Shiva who said, I do not know the truth about Krishna, but a devotee of Lord Krishna knows all truths. Of all the devotees of Lord Krishna, Prahlad is the greatest. Above Prahlad, the Pandavas are supposedly more advanced. Above the Pandavas are the members of the Yadu dynasty, who are even more advanced. In the Yadu dynasty, Uddhava is further advanced, and above Uddhava are the damsels of Vrajadham, the gopis themselves. In the Brihat Vamana Purana, Lord Brahma tells Bhrigu, I underwent meditation and austerities for 60,000 years just to understand the dust of lotus feet of the gopis. Still, I could not understand it. To say nothing of me, even Lord Shiva, Lord Shesha, and the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, could not understand. In Adi Purana, Supreme Personality God himself says, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, the goddess of fortune, even my own self, are not as dear to me as the gopis. Of all the gopis, Srimati Radharani is the topmost. Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami are the most exalted servitors of Srimati Radharani, and Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Those who adhere to their service are known as Rupa Anuga devotees. The Chaitanya Chandramrita gives the following statement about Sri Rupa Goswami. The qualities of one engaged in the service of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, such as reputation, austerities, penances, and knowledge, are not to be compared to the good qualities of others. Such is the perfection of a devotee engaged in the service of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
So from these quotations we can understand that the fame of a devotee surpasses all others.
From these quotations we can understand the fame of a devotee surpasses all others.
The highest fame is for those who are devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
The highest fame is of those who are devoted to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
This is the highest perfection.
This is the highest perfection.
We should try to serve Lord, the devotees of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
So we should try to serve the Lord, devotees of the Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Bhagavan, what is real fame? Ramananda Raya. Real fame is to be famous as a great devotee of the Lord. To be famous as a great philanthropist who gives money in charity is not real fame.
রাধা গোবিন্দে প্রেম ভক্তি পরম ধন সম্পত্তির মধ্যে জীবের কোন সম্পত্তি গণি রাধা কৃষ্ণে প্রেম যার সেই বড় ধনী
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, of the many capitalists who possess great riches, who is the topmost? Ramananda Raya replied, he who is the richest in love for Radha and Krishna is the greatest capitalist.
Haribol!
Haribol! Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Everyone in this material world is attempting to acquire riches to satisfy the senses. Actually, no one cares for anything other than acquiring material possessions and maintaining them. The wealthy are generally accepted as the most important personalities in this material world. But when you compare a material man of wealth to one wealthy in devotional service to Radha and Krishna, the latter is found to be the greatest capitalist. According to Srimad Bhagavatam 10:39-2, what is difficult for the devotees of Lord Krishna, who is the shelter of the goddess of fortune? Among such devotees, although such devotees can obtain anything, O king, they do not desire anything.
Some of the four Purusharthas are Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha.
So the four Purusharthas are Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha.
So everyone wants to obtain Artha in order to satisfy their senses.
So everyone is looking to obtain Artha in order to satisfy their senses.
So the most valuable wealth is love of Radha and Krishna.
The most important wealth is love of Radha and Krishna.
Most highest wealth.
The highest wealth. Bhagavan, what is real wealth?
Because Bhagavan is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Bhagavan means Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ramananda, real wealth is love for Krishna. To possess money, followers and villages is not real wealth.
So we're seeing in this pandemic time, wealthy persons who are philanthropists, they are stepping forward to give different help to the people.
We are seeing during this pandemic times, the wealthy people who are philanthropists are stepping forward to give help to the poor people. But
We see that giving Radha and Krishna is the real wealth.
we see that giving Radha and Krishna is a real wealth.
So that person who gives love for Radha and Krishna is the greatest philanthropist.
That person who gives love for Radha and Krishna is the greatest philanthropist.
কৃষ্ণ ভক্ত বিচ্ছেদই তীব্রতম দুঃখ দুঃখ মধ্যে কোন দুঃখ হয় গুরুতর কৃষ্ণ ভক্ত বিরহ বিনা দুঃখ নাই দেখি পর
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, of all kinds of distress, what is the most painful? Sri Ramananda Raya replied, apart from separation from the devotee of Krishna, I know of no unbearable happiness. Purport. Concerning this, the Lord states in the Vedic literature, a man who does not worship me, who is unduly attached to family, who does not stick to devotional service, must be considered a most unhappy person. Similarly, one who does not associate with Vaishnavas, who does not render service to his superior, is also a most unhappy person. This is also the following statement in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Out of all kinds of desirable things experienced in the life of a living entity, association with the devotees of the Lord is the greatest. When we are separated from a devotee, even for a moment, we cannot enjoy happiness.
So, having the association of His Divine Grace, Lord Chai Bhaktivedanta, Swami Prabhupada, is the greatest happiness.
Having the association of His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, is the greatest happiness.
And losing His association is the greatest suffering.
And losing his association is the greatest suffering. Bhagavan, what is suffering? Ramananda, real suffering is not to have the association of a dear devotee of Lord Krishna. A wound at the heart or some other kind of material suffering of the body is not real suffering.
Do you like our ad-free videos? Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We publish new videos every day, and don't forget to like and share our channel.